to the next learning session of our subject, construction cost engineering. Okay, so we are now on the work breakdown structure. Okay, so WS, this is very popular estimates that is being used by many companies. Okay, so let's go to our presentation. Okay, so work breakdown structure. Okay, we have introduction. Dividing complex projects to similar and manageable tasks is the process identified as WBS, or the work breakdown structure. Okay, so then usually the project manager use this method for simplifying the project execution. Okay, so because this a method, you are dividing, or you have the sub activities of your project. Okay, so it can be easily manage and check the progress of a certain activity uh, using this kind of estimate. Then in WBS, much larger tasks are broken down to manageable chunks of work. Okay, so this is what I mentioned about dividing the activities. Okay, so these chunks can be easily supervised and estimated. Okay, so example, um, in a certain company, like when I was working in abroad, I am one of the, let us say, cost engineer there, and my work first, when I arrived there is uh, estimator. Okay, so usually I'm in charge in the civil works, since I'm a civil engineer. Okay, so then as the time goes by, when I'm familiar on the other disciplines, okay, so I know how to quantify some items, example, electrical instrumentation and chemical. Okay, so the important skill that you need for this work is you know how to quantify, you know the units, you know the conversion of uh, certain items or materials. Okay. Okay, so in there we are using a WBS, which means estimates are made by broken down or breaking down activities. Then one activity, there are also many sub-level activities. Okay, then that activities, we already assign a certain supervisor and manpower. Okay, so because you need to manage your labor also, or your manpower. This is to maximize your labor cost. Okay. Okay, so this is one of the topic of this learning session, a work breakdown structure, and this is the definition. Number one, in project management, okay, and systems engineering is a deliverable oriented decomposition of your project into similar components. Okay, so a work breakdown structure element may be a product data, okay, a service, or any combination. The WBS, or the work structure, also provides the necessary framework for detailed cost estimating and control, along with providing guidance for schedule development and control. Okay, so this is the example outline of the WBS, or the work breakdown structure. Okay, so as you can see, this is your project. Okay, sorry. Example, we have a uh, construction of a bungalow house. Example. So this is your project name. Then the task is divided. So example, you have earthworks. Okay, so your task number one is earthworks. So under earthworks, what are the subtasks or the sub-level activities for that one? Example, you have excavation, then backfilling. Okay, so that one. So what are the other? You have let us see, soil poisoning for your foundation. Then we have let us say this one is a concrete works. Okay, so concrete works meaning this WBS includes all the concreting works on the project. Okay, so under that one, so what are the activities of the concreting works? Example, you have concrete pouring. Okay, so concrete pouring, what are the materials needed? Then you have the curing. So that's the one. Okay, so this in every project, this task or the concrete work is one of the most expensive task because you are using, let's say, cement, sand, and rubble, which are lastly expensive materials in construction. Okay, so and then we have the after this one you have the work package. Okay, this activity is divided also. Okay, so the purpose of this one is to manage effectively and you can see the progress whether your project is in good shape or not. So during the time you can make intervention to prevent larger loss. Okay. So number two, WB is or the work breakdown structure benefits to managers. Okay, this is the good things that the manager can get if they are using WBS as their method of estimation. Okay, so number one, the facilities evaluation of cost, time, and technical performance of the organization on a project. Then number two, you have provides management with information appropriate to its organization level. Then number three, sorry, helps in the development of the organization, breakdown structure which assign project responsibilities to organizational units and individuals. Okay, so the example of this one is, let us say one of the activities is, let us say, painting. Okay, so you have a certain supervisor for that activity. So he's the one, okay, so he is the one responsible for the activity. And during a, let us say, communication meeting or a progress meeting of the project, to know what's the task of the project, he will be the one who will be reporting the data or the progress on the activity he is handling. Okay, so then if you are a manager for that one, you can check if your estimate is in not losing. Okay, so because you can see, example, your estimate have number of days. Okay, so you have days and you have the cost of your labor and materials, so you can see there if the materials are excess or your labor is not working well, so they are killing time. Okay, so that is why if you are a supervisor of a certain activity, you need to be experienced. Okay, so the main reason for that one is to prevent loss on labor cost, especially there are personnel who are taking advantage of their supervisors, then they are not working uh, on what the company expected from them. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, that is why this estimate is a uh, good method for, let us say, management of a certain project. Okay. Okay, so number four, it helps the manager in planning. Okay, so you can we all know that manager is the one responsible in planning. Okay, then we have scheduling and budget. Okay, so in the future, if you are working, you need to understand your manager if sometimes he need to cut costs because of the budget purposes. Okay, so because manager is looking into the big picture, he needs to look that your company will still continue for a long time. Okay, so that is why cost is very important, and managing that one is very essential. Okay, so that's the work of the manager. Then next and the last one, benefit of WBS to the manager is it defines communication channels and assist in coordinating the various project elements. Okay, and number three, this is the reasons for creating a WBS or the work breakdown structure in a project. Okay, so number one, it is accurate and readable project organization. Okay, so because it uses a certain chart where you can see and easily, let us say, analyze or understand what is being meant of that document. Okay, so that's the good thing of the WBS. Then we have the accurate assignment of responsibilities to the project team. Okay, because in that WBS you can write who is the responsible supervisor of the certain activity. Okay. Number three, we have it indicates the project milestone and control points. Okay. Then it helps to estimate the cost, time, and the risk. Then lastly, it illustrates the project scope so the stakeholders can have a better understanding of the same. Okay, okay, so here are the purpose of the work breakdown structure. Okay, so this is the purpose of why we are using this one, and many companies uses this method. Okay, so it helps more accurately and specifically define and organize the scope of the total project. Okay, so number two, help with assigning responsibilities, resource allocation, monitoring the project, and controlling the project. Then number two, it allows you to double check all the deliverables specifics with the stakeholders and make sure there is nothing missing or overlapping. Okay, so imagine if you have a certain material so are ordered not properly purchased and you have a overlapping purchase, so meaning it added uh, cost. Then we have the process of the WBS. Okay, so tools use. One tool use in this one is the work breakdown structure templates. Okay, you have a computer aided software uh, being used for this one. I think Primavera is one. You can use Primavera as the work breakdown schedule. Primavera is a project scheduling software where you can also put the cost. Okay. Then number two is the decomposition. This is a planning technique that subdivides the project scope and project deliverables into smaller, more manageable components. Okay, so this is the expected outputs using the tools that we mentioned. We have the work written structure, the WBS dictionary, then the scope baseline, the project scope statement updates, then the project scope management plan updates, and the requested changes. Okay, so this one is either positive or negative variation of the project. Okay, so these are changes. So either it will be added to your cost, so that is positive change, and or it will be deducted to your cost, that is negative change of your cost. Okay. Number 6 is how to build WBS. Okay, so begin with the charter, focusing on the objectives and deliveries. Then number 2, you have to break the main products activities down into sub-products activities. Then number 3, set the structure to match how you will manage the project. Then number 4, lowest level, not too detailed, not too large. Okay, then is there a need for integration? Okay, then identify support activities. Okay, so you have also to check for completeness. Is all the effort included, or all the things that are needed in a certain activity are included? So you have to check this one. Then develop the coding structure if needed. Coding is the one used for documentation. That is for easily tracking your documents. Example, you have P-1, that's 2001, like that one. So you can use, if you are using or if you are estimating, you can use your own, or if your company has a, let us say, policy or standard of using that one, so you can follow that one. Okay, that's the coding structure. That is uh, the benefit of using that one is the data, say the collection of data. So it is easy to recollect the data or the documents. Then lastly, the assign our package managers. Okay. Then these are the goals for the work breakdown structure. Okay. So number 1, giving visibility to important work efforts. Then number 2, giving visibility to risky work efforts, meaning you can see what are the important and the risky activities that you need to have, let us say, you need to focus on. Okay, if that is risky, you need to be in there, check that one. If because there are activities that is very risky. Example, if it involves many, let us say, lives. Okay, so it will endanger life. Example, if you are let us say making a bridge. Okay, so you need to check everything. Okay, especially in the safety concerns. Okay, so your equipments, are your equipments good? Okay, so are your crane can lift uh, the, let us say, the pile. Okay, so because in bridge you will be using piles. Okay, so piling there. So yes, as you can observe, if you see a bridge construction, they are nailing a certain concrete or a piles. Okay, pile driving, you can use either concrete or it's pile. Okay, so they are the that is steel. Okay, so it is used to like a nail. Okay, so like a nail or common wire nail, used to let us say put into the ground. Okay, so in order to increase concrete strength and stability. Okay, so number 3 is we have illustrate the correlation between the activities and deliverables. Okay, then we have show clearer ownership by task leaders. Okay, so this is the supervisors of the certain activity. Okay, so this is one of an example of a WBS structure estimate. Okay, so will not be computing. Okay, so I'm showing to you one of the output, because these activities estimated using a detailed, or let us say parametric or conceptual. So it depends on your way. Okay, so but but more companies first they use detailed. Okay, so this is to make sure of the accuracy. But if you are in a hurry, or if you have a time constraints, or you can use parametric or either conceptual estimate. Okay, so this is one of the example of the WBS. We have a construction of a house. This one is label one, the deliverables. Okay, so we have this is the subtask. We have internal condition and external. Under internal activities, you have electricity and plumbing. Under foundation, you have excavation and steel erection. Okay, then under external, you have masonry and uh, this is finishing. Okay, finishes. Okay, so that's the one. Then this is the subtask for that one. Okay, so this is the WBS. Meaning, in WBS, if this example, this is 5 million. This 5 million is being subdivided into these three subtask. Example, this is 1 to 2. So this 1 million, 2 million, and 2 million. Then that 1 million is divided also for this one. So you can see the allocation of cost for a project. Okay, so I think that's all for LS3, and I hope you learned something from this one, and see you in our next learning session. Thank you.